Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Troutman. Are we live?
All right, we'll call to order the Raymore Parks and Recreation Board meeting for Tuesday, January 25th, 2022. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, I will.
Take your time, sir.
Thank you. Member Bartow is absent. Member Collier?
Present.
Member Scott?
Present.
Member Manson?
Present.
Member Troutman?
Present.
Member Casas?
Present.
Member Clark?
Present.
Member Cooper?
Present.
And Member Mapes?
Present.
Great, we'll now move to the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise, please. Thank you. Next, we'll move to personal appearances. Seeing none, we will move to item number 5, consent agenda. We need to approve board minutes for both October 26th and November 9th. We will combine them together.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move that we approve the consent agenda on items A and B for the minutes for October 26th, 2021 and November 9th, 2021, which, by the way, the date on A needs to be amended.
Got it. Okay. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Okay, hearing a first and a second. Any modifications to the notes? See none, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor? 8 for, 0 against, 1 absent. Okay, next we'll move into staff reports. Director?
Thank you, sir. I will ask Mr. Gibbs to give a recreation report.
Thank you, Mr. Mustine. I have submitted my report for your review, but I also have a couple highlights just wanted to go over real quick. Athletic coordinator Todd Brennan and myself met with 2 different groups, Kansas City Sports and Perfect Game Midwest, for bringing in potential for tournaments this summer. We have started receiving some of the contracts back from them, so that is very encouraging. Last summer we had 7 tournaments from outside groups. We already have 7 contracts so far for this year, and we'll be working with them to be looking at some other opportunities to work with that. I've been working with our purchasing specialist Kim Quaid regarding the RFP for exclusive beverage vending. We currently work with Pepsi-Cola, and so that contract is up for bid this year, and so we'll be receiving those from interested vendors coming up. By February 10 is when we'll open up those, or when those bids are due. The new contract for the beverages begins May 1st. The ice rink, just a quick update, skate rentals. There is always room for opportunities there. Numbers haven't been as strong as we'd like. However, the private rentals, we have 17 on our rolls right now. Because of either when we were down for some maintenance issues or the extremely warm or freezing cold weather, we have refunded 3 of those dates, or those dates to date. So overall, we're up from last year, and the season's not over yet. We do go through February 20. And then just a quick note that youth volleyball registrations are open, youth soccer registrations, and youth flag football registrations are all open as well. That concludes my report. Stand for any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Gibbs? Thank you, sir. Director?
I will ask Mr. Rulo to give a parks report.
Thank you. I also submitted a written report. Just wanted to touch on a few highlighted items. Our staff has, in the past 2-3 weeks, have put over 100 tons of surfacing on our baseball fields down at Recreation Park. We haven't done this for about 2 or 3 years, so it was definitely due. Had perfect timing. That's right before the snow, so started packing it in. Now next week, hopefully, we'll be able to get out, groom it down, find out if we have any low spots, and fill them in accordingly. Also in that process, the guys have stripped down all of our pitching mounds, carpet all the way down, sanded down to the fiberglass. We're putting all new carpet on, all new rubbers on, so those should be just like brand new for next year. And all bases are painted, ready to roll. As soon as the new surfacing gets settled in, we'll go out, reset all the bases, and be ready for some of Jimmy's tournaments to come in mid-April. So that's been looking real good. I wanted to say thanks to my staff. They've been helping Public Works on both snowstorms, plus been helping myself out with sidewalks over at Centerview and the rack. And staff has also been down at the rack, kind of patching holes, repainting walls from summer camp. Kind of does a number over on the walls down there. So got that looking good again, and looking forward to another big summer camp. So with that, I will take any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Rulo?
Yeah, I had one.
Yes, sir. Dan?
The ice rink, there was note that there was damage to the cooling system, and you guys had to fix it. How long did that take you guys? What was broken, and what would you estimate like the cost to our department?
The time, it was one of the factors of getting the chemical. We lost a lot of the antifreeze to freeze the ice. Somebody had dug, probably with a skate, dug down, and they hit one of the coils and popped it. It was a quick fix. We fixed it in about 30 minutes, but it took about 2 weeks to get the chemicals. And then once we got the chemicals in, it hit 70 degrees for a day or two. And so I think we were down a total of about 3 weeks. But money-wise, probably, yeah, it was less than $1,000. I think it was right around $600-700.
So it was damaged to the piping under the ice, not necessarily like the chiller or any of the equipment.
Correct. It was all underneath the ice.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Director?
Thank you, sir. I've also submitted a written report, just a couple highlights. As explained in the work session previous to the meeting, we are fairly active in our capital program. We currently have 6 projects either in bidding process or under construction right now, with 4 more projects due to come out this year. So we are going to be very busy in terms of our capital program this year, which is pretty exciting. And secondly, I just want to, and within my packet on page 2, I have staff highlights. I've been trying to do that throughout the year, showcase some of what our staffing, what our staff does, especially for the city council. My particular report is the same that we give the council, and I gave this last night, but I wanted to highlight some of our part-time, what we call permanent part-time folks, which they're just part-time year-round. But when it's in a climate like this where it's very hard to retain employees and to hire people just in general, these 4, and there's actually a couple more that we obviously couldn't get a picture of at that time, but they are our mainstays. They are the ones that cover us in the off hours. They take care of us. They are our eyes and our ears when we're not there. They're consistent, they're reliable, and we could not do what we do without them. And those 4 right there are some of our key players. And I just want to publicly thank them, because they're the ones that take the brunt. They take all the bullets, all the time, and they don't get thanked in the recognition they deserve. So they probably will never know that I even said this about them, but I wanted to publicly make sure that they're recognized in front of you guys, because they make you all look good as well. And that concludes staff report.
Can you give us their names, please?
In this particular staff report, David Kappelman, he has worked for us as a part-time, all the way from officiating, softball, baseball umpire, scheduler, to everything in between. I hired Dave to work for me in 2002, and that's how long he's been here. He's been here as long as I have. Next is Laura, I don't even know how to say her name right. Schoeneman? Is it Schoeneman? Okay. Laura works part-time at the rack, and she covers Greta at Centerview sometimes. Right next to her is Brooke. So Laura and Brooke are really our customer service part-timers that work side by side with Greta to make sure that our phones get answered, our front desk are covered when people walk in. And then next to Brooke there is Terry. He's kind of our other Dave. He's our on-field supervisor. He makes sure our athletics, our sports, fields are set up, volleyball nets are set up, site supervisors during games. They come in off hours and they work with Todd to put together equipment bags and prep facilities and stuff for upcoming games. And Dave and Terry in particular, when you need a body, you call them, and they will always be there. They rarely tell us no or they can't between the two of them. One of them will always help cover something, and they're willing to do anything from ice rink to Centerview to sports, whatever we need. They're just invaluable to our staff. So, and there's numerous others. Reagan's over at Centerview right now covering an event for us. We have staff over at the ice rink. We're always hiring, so if you know kids that are 16 years or older that need a good part-time job, Jimmy's the guy. We're always looking for people. We're pretty flexible hours. We're pretty easy to work with. We tend to like ourselves. I mean, what's not to want to work with us, right? I know.
Can we have that removed from the video, that last part? Anybody have any questions for the director? Simon.
It's good that you bring those people up. Is there anything we can do to help them to recognition of any sort?
Oh, I don't know. A lot of times, Chairman Troutman and Vice Chair Manson, they'll drop in and buy lunch or give us some dollars that we can go get them drinks and stuff like that. I think a lot of times it's those little things that that we can just walk in and say, hey, the park board, wanted you to have this, or wanted us to buy you lunch today, or bring you some McDonald's out there in the food. It's those types of little things. We try to take care of them, which I pass this on and give you guys credit for this, but we buy them merch, shirts and hats and stuff. I mean, it's not just the gray boring t-shirts that Steve's guys get. I mean, we get them cool stuff. So, they appreciate that. Terry was one of the guys that started that. I mean, we gave him one of the gray shirts, and he said, this is terrible. And he went and made Todd buy him a cool shirt, and then the rest of us were like, I want one of those, And so it's little things like that. But if you see them out there and they're in their staff shirts, don't be shy. Go up and say, hey, I'm on the park board and just want to thank you. That means more to him than anything. I appreciate that, though. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Bill?
Yeah, you said we're hiring currently
Yes.
for part-timers. What are the positions you're hiring for?
All,
all right.
Bill, are you looking?
I'll ask,
Are you looking?
No,
Coming out of retirement? Just checking.
said I was
I'll
in
ask
retirement.
Jimmy can expound on what the positions.
On the recreation side, so people to work at the front desks, coaching officials, and then also our concession stands right now aren't open, but we will be hiring for concession stands. And then our big ticket is camp counselors.
And then Steve
And
will
then
also
Steve,
have
yeah.
part-time seasonals for, that one in particular has to be 18 and older to operate equipment. But the market's very competitive with minimum wage and hourly rates rising. It is difficult. I mean, these kids, these folks have options, and sometimes we're not their best option because they don't know us.
Anyone else? Questions for the director? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We are going to move into unfinished business. We had a conversation back in October, and it's coming back up. Action item A, Sportsmanship Policy. Director?
Thanks, sir. I'll give a brief history of this event or this particular item. In October, as we normally do, we try to bring some policies and throughout the year for annual renewal. Most of our policies have that. This particular one was our sportsmanship policy. Superintendent Gibbs and Athletic Coordinator Brennan really revamped this pretty thoroughly back in October. The board did have some questions in terms of defining some of the terminology in there. We took those comments, we went back, we revised this document, and then it is before you. I would also, I want to expound a little bit on that. In review of this, and then the next policy, I'm revising the format of them, and you'll see this in the next month or two. All of our policies are going to go to this newer format so that we can be more efficient on our renewals and our reviews of these, so that we're hoping to, specifically on this one on the last page where it says review and renewal or review, I've rephrased that where they're all going to say every other year on the even years, so that we're every other year, not trying to get all of these policies done in 1 year. But also, if we miss it, it stays in effect. It just doesn't self-expire. But what we're trying to do is get them all lined up to where we can do like a slate vote and all policies are there. But if we need to review one, we can pull one out individually to review it. But that way it's just more efficient on how we do that. So you'll see that throughout this policy, the next policy that tonight, and then moving forward. And we're going to put a number system on there so that the policies, they don't get lost once you approve it, and then we don't use it for 5 years and you forget about it. We'll have a numbering system that keeps them on track and in play, regardless of who's on the board or who's in staff. So that's nothing significant to this particular policy. I'm just giving some background on why it looks different than it did in October. But as far as this particular policy, we made those changes. Superintendent Gibbs can answer any more in-depth questions on the policy if you have any, but that we are ready to move forward with that, and that concludes staff report.
Okay, any questions for the director, Superintendent Gibbs? Okay, seeing none, I will ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion we move for approval for the updated sportsmanship policy.
Do I have a second?
Second it.
Okay, I have a first and second. Any discussion at this point? Seeing no discussion, I will ask to move to a vote. All those in favor? Passes 8-0, one absent. Next, we'll move to item number 8, new business. Action item A, hiring policy. Director?
Thank you, sir. This is the second policy review of the night. The park board had a chance to review this with staff at our January 11th work session to go over it, the changes that we recommended, ask any questions. I was not there, but I understand had some good discussion, but nothing really significant change from the proposed policy that was presented to you guys. This particular policy, hiring, it is within the department right to add additional policies under the city's administrative manual. So the administrative policy of the city sets guidelines, but then there's even a clause in there that says each department has the right to make subsequent policies to help, guide their own stuff. That's what this is. It's helping us kind of define who we hire, how we hire, and further define those roles and those positions. It also gives clause for us to hire city employees family, relatives, children. Obviously, we are one of the larger departments that have employment, and we want to be the first job for everybody. We want our Raymore families to be able to send their kids to us and help us, allow us to help them learn how to work a job, and in turn they help us. So, but there's got to be some provision in there to keep everybody in a comfortable situation, and so that's what some of the attachments are for. You guys have all seen that, so what you see tonight is the proposed policy with no changes that you've already seen, and we recommend approval. That concludes staff report.
Any questions about the hiring policy? Okay. Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
move that we approve the updated hiring policy and anti-nepotism attachments.
Great. Have a second?
Second.
Okay. Have a first and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All those in favor? Passes 8-0, one absent. We have no public for public comment. That probably tends to happen when it's 7 degrees outside. So we'll move into board member comment. So I will start with Dan. Any comments?
Yeah, yeah. I just want to say how excited I am to be back on the park board. I was on this board about 10 years ago, and just real excited to be involved again and back helping out and seeing all the inner workings and working with all of you folks and make our parks better. So I just wanted to say that I'm just real excited for the coming years.
Glad to have you back. Ken?
Kind of a parrot to what Dan said. It's just, we've talked about a lot of things coming up, and it does seem really exciting. And I think that the Raymore Parks Department just does a fantastic job of everything. So just want you all to know that we really appreciate what you do, because it can't be easy, even though you make it look that way.
Well said. Patrick?
Yeah, thank you. And this time of year, it's harder to do your job. It's physically harder. It's cold. It's rough. Things break easier. So we appreciate the extra effort. We know what happens. You don't tell us all the difficulties that you face. And thank you, because I'm sure it's more than we know about or could deal with ourselves. But we appreciate your work and with the office as well. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Simon?
Well, tell everybody thank you for all their hard work, and I share your voice when you say you're excited. Welcome back, and I'm looking forward to rocking and rolling going ahead.
Thank you, sir. Josh?
Thank you, Chairman. I'm excited about 2022. I think everybody's doing a really good job. The projects we have coming up are going to be fun, and thank you for highlighting those part-time employees. And it's good to be on this board with the support of the city and the city council. So I'm excited for it. Thank you.
Chris?
Thank you, Chairman. Everybody said a whole lot of what I thought needed to be said, so I do appreciate what you guys have done out here in Raymore, so thanks.
Thank you, guys. Bill?
Well, staff has done the exceptional job, as it usually does, and I look forward to working with them on the projects coming up in this fiscal year, specifically with the park expansions and the playgrounds. It's going to work out well, even if you do sometimes. Oh, I won't go anywhere with that joke.
Thank goodness you cut his mic. So I'm going to finish by saying a couple things. I've been a citizen of this city since 1997. To hear that we have 6 projects with 4 more to go would have never been thought of, in my mind, 20, 25 years ago. The movement that we're making, which starts with the citizens allowing us to do it, moving into the mayor and city council, then into staff, and allowing us to be a part of it, is something special that this town is moving forward. This city's moving forward in breakneck speed, and it's truly awesome. Also want to mention the 4 people, plus the others that weren't mentioned. One in particular, if you've done anything in this city in Parks and Recs, you got to know Dave. And Dave will never leave you without a smile. That's his thing. And to know that he'll pick up anything, and all of them will. If you've ever ran in, I've had the pleasure of working with all 4 of them, and it's always a smile. You go into the office and you run into Greta and she'll help you with something. It's never a grind. It's always a positive situation, and even down to the help. They're always looking to do the better thing, and we're lucky as a city to have that, because that's not the way it is in a lot of cities. The other thing is, as I was thinking, the collaboration between us and the arts department coming together, coming up with, as I listened to the arts department talk about the things they put on, and with the help of staff being able to do it, we are light years ahead of where we were 15 years ago. So I want to make that clear, that how great it is, and only moving forward with this board and you guys' vision, staff and your vision, we're just going to rock it out. So I appreciate all of you. And with that, we will move into adjournment. So I will ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn for this meeting.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Okay. All those in favor? Passes 8-0, 1 absent.